Hello again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build video in The Sims 4. Hope you're all having the most amazing day ever so far and thank you so much for joining me here today. We're inside Myshuno again. We are in the 910 Medina Studios apartment block and we are decorating an apartment for a musician or a couple of musicians depending on how you want the gameplay to sort of transpire. But yeah, my goal for this apartment was to make it look kind of disheveled, kind of run down and just full of life and full of personality and just full of stuff. It feels like, especially, well for me anyway, it feels like it's been a little while since I've done like a super cluttered build, so this was like me in my absolute comfort zone. So I whipped this up together this morning. I was just feeling super inspired to do an apartment like this. I have done a musician's apartment, but we're looking at like maybe 2 years ago now, and I think my style of building has just like completely evolved since then, so it was really nice to sort of do the same theme and see what I can come up with this time around, especially when we've got a lot of new items as well from new kits, etc. Especially the basement treasures kit that came in super handy for this particular apartment. But yeah, this is the living area. I love how this came together. I love how it looks. We used a lot of items from, as I was saying, the basement treasures kit, but also the werewolves game pack that came in super handy as well. And I just really love how this looks. I think it looks absolutely amazing. So you'll have to let me know what you think in the comments down below. I know it's my build, so I'm probably quite biased, but I'm often also my own worst critic. So I'm more than happy to sit here and say, oh yeah, well it didn't turn out super well, but yeah, I'll put it up on the channel anyway. But I was actually really proud of this build, so yes. And I absolutely love this apartment block. It feels like it's been a little while since I've actually built here, and I just wanted to revisit it and just do something, I'd say a little bit different, but I know there's been plenty of people that have done musicians apartments. Anyway, yes, back to the build. This rug from Werewolves came in so handy for this apartment. I think I used it maybe 3 times in different swatches. I used one in the bathroom as well. I'm not trying to say that all musicians are kind of like dirty and grimy, but what I was trying to get across was like the sim that lives here, their main sort of priority is not where they live, it's their music, and that's their entire life and soul. And their apartment's just full of like guitars, there's a like keyboard here as well, and there's posters everywhere, and yeah, they just, this is how they live, and I really like this. I've said this before on the channel. I absolutely adore doing more, I would class them as like rundown builds and more like realistic builds, because it's really easy to sort of sit here and create like the perfect house or the perfect apartment, but you know, there are people that don't live in perfect houses. They've built their own home, and that is what is home to them, if that makes sense. And so it's really nice to just try and explore all these different like interior styles. So yeah, that's what I was trying to do with this. And another thing that I absolutely love about this apartment, I was trying to get my words out there, is that like we have like mouse holes, we've got exposed pipes, we've got like this little, I don't know what that is in the back there, in the back left corner. I have no idea what it is. Isn't it an electric box perhaps? I don't know. But I love, especially like with this kind of style of build, it just worked so perfectly. I've built in this apartment block before and actually hidden those items because we didn't really go with the aesthetic or with the theme that I was going for, but for this apartment they actually added to the aesthetic, and I think they just made it look that much more realistic. So you'll have to let me know what you think. But yeah, the living room I think probably took the longest out of the entire apartment, and it's because I really wanted it to be the sort of like heart of the home, and I really wanted it because I knew that this was going to be where I was taking the thumbnail and the main screenshots too. So I was just thinking, okay, well I need to put as much detail in here as possible. Obviously I kept detailing all throughout the apartment, but I think I wanted this to specifically to be probably where they spend the most time, and yeah, that was just what I was trying to get across. Then I was trying to like play around with a few different ideas in terms of like the posters behind the sofa and things like that. There's a pizza box on the coffee table along with like a Chinese box too. There's a mug and the keys and phone from the everyday clutter kit, I believe. That also came in super handy. But yeah, the basement treasures kit, when that kit came out, I was so happy because I love more rundown items and I loved more themed items too. And while I was building this apartment, I was also thinking that we maybe need either a pack or a kit that's going to give us more disheveled items like this, like more used items that don't look brand new. It looks like they've been used for a number of years and maybe not been taken the best care of, and I just think we need a little bit more of that, you know. You'll have to let me know if you agree with that or if you prefer like more clean looking items. I just think it's nice to have a choice and options as to what we're doing. And then I do think we move on to the kitchen area. Yes, we do. So I use these tiles again from Werewolves because, as you can see, some of the tiles are missing, some of them are cracked, some of them are peeled up, and it just works really, really well. I do end up choosing the counters from the City Living pack because they are basically like the ones from the base game, but they're just more like rough looking, like they've got like paint peeling off the cabinets and stuff like that, so I thought that fit in better with the whole vibe of the apartment. And I'll tell you what I did also use, I used quite a few items from the Eco Lifestyle pack too, which actually surprised me. But yeah, I used quite a few items from that pack as well because that's, I wouldn't say it's my favourite pack for build and buy, but I think it has some really, 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 really good build and buy objects, you know. The kitchen proved to be a little bit more difficult than the living room, I would say. Once I got into the swing of it, I was absolutely fine, but getting into the swing of things was proving a little bit difficult on this one for some reason. I don't know, I found it a little bit difficult. And while we're just on the subject of like more worn items, I would really like a pack with plants that they're not dead, but they're not like really healthy looking either, because I wanted to add quite a few plants to this apartment. Now that's definitely a me thing because I always add plants to my builds. If when in doubt, add a plant, that's what I say, or when in doubt, add like a clutter item or whatever, but my go-to is to add a plant. And I did notice that a lot of the plants were just a little bit too vibrant, a little bit too, they just didn't fit with the vibe. And then I found the plant from the Basement Treasures kit and I realised that one of the swatches, it made it look kind of like dirty. And I was like, that's perfect. So I ended up putting that behind the keyboard. I think that's more nearer the end of the build though, when I actually found that swatch, because that's the plant that's supposed to look like the plant from the original Sims game. I think we had like very, very limited plants in the original Sims if you played it. But yeah, it's supposed to be like a replica of that, and it's supposed to be like quite plasticky looking. And I actually really like it in the right setting. But yeah, I found a swatch that looked kind of run down and a bit dusty and a bit like it was dying. So I ended up adding that near the keyboard. And then like I was just saying, like I was trying to add a plant in the middle of the kitchen table, but like none of them were working, so I ended up adding like this little box of stuff from the Everyday Clutter kit just because I thought it worked really, really well. I think if I was looking at this, I believe I used a wide range of items from an array of packs. Like this is not pack restricted in any capacity whatsoever. I definitely used a lot of packs with this apartment, so I'm sorry, like, because I know that not everyone has all the packs, but sometimes it's really nice for me to just sit down and like not think about it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I also add like this little record thing. I don't know, I think it's from, what's it called? Get Famous. My brain doesn't seem to be working this morning. I feel like I need another coffee. Anyway, just more posters on the wall, just keeping in with the theme and the flow of the apartment. I get the feeling that the Sim that's lived here has lived here for quite a long time. And I just love it. And I've said this before, and I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but I love creating stories through my Sims builds. I just love it. And if you guys have a Sim like who you want to move in here, I'd love to see them. So feel free to send me your screenshots on any of my social medias. You know where to find me at RachelPedd on pretty much anything. But yeah, I love it when people send me screenshots and tag me and stuff. I'm like, someone's using my build. And it's just like the best feeling ever. Anyway, this little space here was stumping me for the longest time, but then I pulled out this little hallway table from the Horse Ranch pack because, like, obviously the wood looks a little bit disheveled. It probably looks like they picked it up on the side of the street and just brought it up to the apartment or something, and so I just thought it fit in really, really well with the vibe. I also pulled out these postcards because perhaps this Sim travels with their band and they travel to places and stop over. So this perhaps isn't their main home. This is just where they sort of live in Myshuno. you might want to like weave that into your story. I don't know what you want to do with this, but my sort of idea on it was that this sim doesn't necessarily just live here. They potentially live more on the road, so that's probably another reason that they don't want to keep the apartment too nice. And also, I can't imagine this apartment was very nice when they moved in. Like, the carpet was probably looked exactly like this, the paint on the walls was probably a bit chipped and like a bit discoloured, so I can't imagine that they would have wanted to keep it like not nice. Does that make sense? This is definitely one of those rambly voiceovers. I knew before I started that it was going to be a rambly voiceover, and I was absolutely right. Anyway, just finishing up the hallway here, and then we move on to the bedroom. The bedroom actually turned out a lot better than I thought, and I do use the bed from the Eco Lifestyle pack. This is from the debug menu, and I believe it's one that you can find when your Sims go dumpster diving, which I think is so cool. I think the bed itself is either free or it's like 20 or 25 simoleons or something like that, so it's like literally costs nothing, but it fits so well with the vibe of the apartment. I can imagine that when the Sim moved in here, things like the sofa, the bed, maybe some of like the TVs and the seating areas, they were like already here from previous owners, and they've just left them and they've just become more worn and discoloured over time. So this Sim's like, yeah, I'll just keep them here, it saves me some money, you know, I don't need to go out and buy anything. So I kind of liked that idea, but yeah, I really like this. And then it's so grungy. I absolutely love this grungy vibe. I think it looks so fantastic, and yeah, I just love it so much. Yeah, yes, I love creating like the white picket fence houses, of course, but doing builds like this too, it just brings me a lot of joy. Anyway, finishing up the bedroom here, I didn't really know what to put on the walls. This medium wall height stumps me every time because my brain always tells me that I need to fill the entire space. So I'm trying to not to do that as much, but with this apartment I thought, well, you know what, we can probably do that because this Sim likes clutter. Anything they find, they're like, right, that's going in my apartment, that's going on the wall, that's whatever. So I just think it works really well. You have to let me know if you agree or disagree. I don't know. I'm hoping for like a bands pack in the future. I'm hoping for like a hotels pack as well, because I'd love to be able to build some hotels for my Sims. Like that's something that I definitely want to start doing if we get a pack like that. I know a lot of people actually want a hotels pack, so it'll be interesting to see what's left in store for the rest of the year and then what's in store for next year as well from the team. But anyway, yeah, this is the bathroom and this is the final room of the build. So we can all breathe a sigh of relief, including me, because I'm sick of listening to myself today because I've been very rambly. But if you'd like to download this apartment, you can download it from the gallery right now. My origin ID is RachelPedd. Tray files, as always, are linked down in the description box below. You can get them for free from Sim File Share. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining me here today. I can't wait to hear what you think of this grungy apartment. But you all take care, and I will see you next time. Bye!